Everything I discovered about Andrew was a lie. Everything that I discovered about Virginia Giuffre was true. Many of the things I found were quite separate from what has appeared in her book.
Prince Andrew went on. Well, hang on.
I carry no brief.
Okay, fine.
I think he's a piece of shit.
So this debate between Brian Basham and Tara Palmeri over Epstein and Virginia Giuffre's relationship is honestly exposing two completely opposite realities. You have Brian still trying to dismiss Virginia as a liar, while on the other side, you have a historian saying after 4 years of investigation, everything Virginia claimed was backed by evidence, and everything about Prince Andrew fell apart. At this point, defending Andrew sounds less like searching for truth and more like protecting royal reputation, especially now that Andrew himself has been caught lying about still contacting Epstein. This clash really shows the divide between damage control and facts.
Most people are accepting that Virginia Giuffre's testimony is accurate. I mean, I've let Brian say his piece, and there are people that think that about Virginia Giuffre, so you've got to hear the other side of it. But I believe that Virginia Giuffre's book is the real story here. What is your view?
Well, my view is I'm a Cambridge-trained historian. I spent 4 years on this book. Everything I discovered about Andrew was a lie. Everything that I discovered about Virginia Giuffre was true. Many of the things I found were quite separate from what has appeared in her book. But actually backs up exactly what she said in her book. And I think the point we need to make, and she's only part of my book, but Andrew has not offered himself to law enforcement agencies or to the victims' lawyers. He ran up to Balmoral to save a summons being served on him. And I think, personally, he should face charges. He should be investigated for a whole series of things, quite separate from Epstein, misconduct in a public office. But I think, having looked at all the evidence myself, I cannot see that she isn't, apart from a few inconsistencies, a very valuable contributor to her. And without Virginia Giuffre, this story would not have come out, and we have to pay tribute to that. And I think the great justice is that even posthumously here, she is finally bringing to justice some of these men.
Right.
Andrew, you wrote a great book about Louis Mountbatten, a terrific book with which I gave you some help. With Prince Andrew, I told you, when you got on the gravy train and started to write about him, that he was innocent, and I sent you evidence that he was innocent.
I'm afraid I didn't believe your evidence. I tested your evidence and it didn't add up. So, you know, I know you were trying to influence me.
Because you haven't investigated, and I have. You've investigated Andrew. I've spent 4 years investigating Virginia Giuffre with the help of a police-trained investigator who's written a detailed book. He's not as eloquent as you, but he's written a detailed book, and I've been helping him because I admire him. He then went off to Ukraine and risked his life.
Well, you're entitled to your own view. All I can say is I've got a doctorate in research, so I don't need to have any lessons from Brian Basham, thank you.
Yes, you do, I'm afraid.
Well, no, I don't.
Because your gravy training, you joined the dance on Prince Andrew's reputation.
I came to this completely independently.
Andrew,
you know what, Brian? Here's the problem with your stoic defence of Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew went on. Well, hang on.
I carry no brief.
Okay, fine.
I think he's a piece of shit.
Fine, okay. But Andrew, let's remind ourselves, went on national television and said he had no more contact with Epstein after the famous walk in Central Park in New York. And then we know from emails leaked last week that was a lie. He carried on having contact with him for a sustained period afterwards. We don't know where this is all going to lead. But certainly, as things stand, when I hear him say, I don't remember ever meeting her, this picture may have been faked and so on, all the credibility around those denials now looks extremely suspect because he's been proven, in his own words, to have lied about the timeline.